Hyderabad is a very special place for a few reasons. One of them definitely is the food over here. The biryani, the Arabic food is, trust me, it is to die for. It is incredible. In fact, if this was not a car vlog and this was not a video about cars, I would probably be going for at least 10-15 minutes regarding the biryani and the food that you get in this beautiful city. But coming back to topic, which we have to because it's a car vlog, the topic of today's video is related to the second very unique thing about Hyderabad, and that is that this city is one of the only cities, I think, is there any more? Let me know. But I think this is the only city in the entire country where you have a road which is in the middle of the city where you can actually do 120 kilometers per hour legally. Hello and welcome to Beach Hour, and in today's video what we are going to do is first drive this car, which is a 1.8 Octavia, which is bone stock, and then we're going to put some parts on it and see what difference that makes. So as you can see, this is a very stock car. In fact, the wheels are also absolutely stock. There is literally nothing on this car. No exhaust, no tune, no wheel upgrades, no upgrades of any sorts, and even the interior is pretty much completely stock here and there as well, apart from this camera which I've put for recording. Basically, it's a proper stock car. Now, you would say, why am I starting the video which is regarding performance and tuning with a stock car? The reason for that is I want to show you what some parts make difference when you install it on the stock car and how much of a difference that makes. So what we're going to do today is first drive this car, which is completely stock. Then this car is going to go over there on the lift and get some parts installed on it, and then we're going to drive it and see what difference it makes. Okay, so starting off with the very bone stock 1.8 Octavia. This is a proper executive car. Like, even when you sit in it, it's got beige interiors, very normal. The drive is supremely comfortable. It's got stock suspensions, it's got the stock tire profile, in fact the stock alloys as well. And over here on the roads, this completely feels normal. I'm sure a lot of you guys would already be familiar with how a stock Octavia feels, but I just want to familiarize myself a little bit with the car before this goes in for the part upgrade. The part upgrade is very important and very interesting as well, because it is something which is kind of an underdog when it comes to your car's performance, and I actually want to see how much of a difference that makes. So having a stock car as a reference will be super handy. Like right now also we are going over some not very good roads. Like, the roads are actually with quite a bit of potholes, quite big potholes, bad speed breakers, half broken speed breakers, and this car is easily able to take all of those. So what we are planning to do is take this car out first on these kind of roads, then head to slightly more open roads, see if we can find a few corners, and then head to the infamous Hyderabad Outer Ring Road, where we can actually test this car on slightly higher speed, still legal. And so we'll test them on those roads and see what kind of a difference it is. Of course, we still plan to keep it a lot pliant with city roads where you can use it a lot for daily driving as well, but at the same time have a little more character, have a little more bite to how it drives and how well, I mean, let's see. I also don't know. We're gonna see how and what we can change about this car and to what extent those parts fit and make sense on this car. Okay, we are now on the beauty that is the Outer Ring Road. This is an absolutely incredible piece of tarmac in the entire country. Probably one of the most unique, because you're in the middle of the city. Which city? Tell me, maybe I'm wrong, but tell me if there is any city in India where you can do 120 kilometers per hour legally. The point we are here is to see how this car, the stock Octavia 1.8, how this car does on this road. Now, even at 120 kilometers per hour, I do feel like it is like the steering is pretty solid. That said, though, the body does have a little give. Like, you do feel that the car is a little bit floaty. It's not floaty in the sense where it's outright dangerous and you might have trouble shifting lanes, but even at 120 kilometers per hour, if you want to shift lanes, this car is pretty stable. Like, this is a good setup when you talk about daily drivers, when you talk about cars which are going for office and back, but it's not very sporty. Like, even right now on this ORR, there are a few corners, and when you do take corners, when you start putting the car at high speeds through a corner, you do start experiencing that body roll where it's actually quite a bit. And when you do sudden lane changes like this, there are two things. First, you do feel the body roll, you feel the body dipping from one side to the other. And second, you feel a delay in the steering response where you go into the corner, where you actually turn your wheel, and there is a few microsecond difference between you turning the wheel and the car responding to what you want to do. And also, like, the ORR is a pretty flat road, but then you still have a few bumps, and where you go on bumps like at 100, 120, which this road is meant for, it's not at all a problem. But let's say if you're going above those speeds, if you're doing 140, 150 and you go over some really heavy bumps, it's for sure going to unsettle the car in a way where it's not going to be really comfortable and might put you in a tricky situation, especially if you're approaching the corner or if you're mid-corner. You're definitely going to be in trouble. Okay, so now for this section of road, which has got some nice twisty corners, a little high speed as well, we're going to put the car in sport. Again, that is a supremely responsive engine, but there you have it. There is the problem. So what definitely is the problem here is that the body, the chassis, the suspensions on this car are not complementing the engine power, and especially not complementing the drive that we are getting out of a corner. The amount of body roll over here, like for example, even in this corner, the body roll is insane, and because of that, the car's front is fully washing out. It's fully washing out. It's only because of the traction control that the front is holding on to its place. Otherwise, it'll just go in the other direction. See, this is the issue. This is the problem with this car. I know the engine is capable of a lot more cornering speed, but it's the suspension, it's the chassis, how it's set up, which is sort of limiting factor over here, where it just can't cope up with the G-force. It just spills out. It just completely washes off. I wish I had a G-meter with me, because the G-meter would have exactly told you guys the actual difference, like how much G's we were pulling right now and how much G's we would pull after the upgraded performance parts. For now, we will have to do with what we have. Okay, so I am back with this car. Now this car is up on a lift, and these are the parts that are going to be fitted to the car. These are made by this brand called Peakmo. These guys make these out of aluminium. Some really good grade aluminium. They are actually quite lightweight, and I'll show you where these guys are going to fit this and how it works. So let me quickly explain you the whole analogy of why this is getting fitted, why braces are needed, and how it actually helps, or how it actually mechanically works, hopefully with the help of this paper. So let's say this is the underbody or the chassis below your car. Now, as you can see, this is a sheet of paper. This is not actually the chassis, but this is just a visual representation. Now, what is happening when you're going over bad surfaces, when there is undulations, or when you're taking a corner, this chassis has flex. So basically, this is exactly how your chassis moves. Now, this is given in a lot of cars. This amount of chassis play is given because you want to keep the comfortable passengers, you want less amount of bad roads or bad surfaces to travel inside. But while that is great for comfort, it's not basically very good when you want a nice high-speed cornering car, or when you want cornering stability. So what you need to do is you need to restrict this movement which happens in the chassis. This is what needs to be restricted. How will you restrict this? Like for example, even if it is this, what you could do is you could add one line over here, you could add another hard surface, and you can add multiple hard surfaces over here like this. And when you have those hard surfaces connected, there will basically be no flex like this. And that is exactly what these braces do. So there are a total of 4 of them, 2 of them, one front, one back, and there are 2 in the middle. And now I'll show you where all those are installed and how they look. So coming back over here, now let's see, for example, this is a sway bar. Then over here, there is one brace that gets mounted over here, and that is this one. Then there is another brace which gets mounted over here as well. Look at this one. This is a brace which comes mounted from the factory, and this basically connects over here, right? This is the brace which connects over here, and similarly, this brace gets connected over here. This brace gets connected over here, but as you can see, both these braces are very light, they are very thin, and there you can look at them and make out that these are not basically meant for any sort of performance application. And now with the Peakmo brace, you can see that this is a much more stronger, a much more solid, much more thicker brace, which will give a lot more stiffness to the underbody, to the chassis of the car. So one of these will go over here, another one goes over here, then there is one brace. This is basically a set of 4. The next brace will come behind, over here, behind the sway bar, and then there will be one final brace. As you can see, he is currently installing. This will basically connect the lower arms to the subframe. So this brace goes over here like this. They will tighten it up, and then the final big one is this. This is the rear brace. So this rear brace goes in here, and then this will go over here like this. Yeah, so these are the 4 braces. Let them get installed, then I will show you how the car looks from underneath one final time. So our man Vincent over here, Vincent is also the guy who owns this car, which we are going to take out for a drive. In the meantime, he is very keen on explaining us the Peakmo rear brace box.
So this is for MQB multi-link suspension. So what this would do is it would essentially add that sort of stiffness that you need in the rear.
Right.
This would help in turn-in of the vehicle. So this would also get adjustable preload settings. So basically the preload weights would go and place like this.
Acha.
So depending on how much preload, running the preload and everything is an individual choice up to the driver, how he prefers it to be. So basically adding more preload will increase the oversteer of the car. So
question, I have one question. Why do we have so many different plates? Are they different for different type of preloads? Like how do you define these different plates?
Yes, basically this is 2mm plate, this is 3mm plate.
Acha.
Now whether to go for 2mm plate and 3mm plate, that is an individual choice.
Correct. Usko kitna
of the
preload
user.
chahiye aadmi ko.
Yes.
Correct.
So if he is comfortable with little bit or none of oversteer, then he can straight away use this without any preload. But if he wants a little bit of oversteer characteristics, he should go with 2mm or 3mm.
And then I see that there are thicker plates also.
Yes, and this is 5mm.
Fuck that.
So this is already 5mm. Adding this would make the total thing to be 10mm.
That will be very stiff.
That will be stiff and it will oversteer like this.
It will oversteer, yeah.
Yeah. So basically this to control the oversteer nature of the car.
But tell me, do you really want to oversteer a front wheel drive car?
It is fun.
It is?
When you wantedly do it.
I want to, so we can't do this obviously on an open track, on an open circuit. But definitely when you have a closed circuit, I would definitely like to try it out because I have never in my life oversteered a front wheel drive car. Rear wheel drive, of course, we all know, but front wheel drive I've never. So for like, let's say MMRT or let's say Yorkari, what kind of preload settings do you generally suggest for the Octavia? Like for a good front rear bias?
3 to 4 mm is very good.
3 to 4 mm is maximum.
5 mm I'll not even suggest.
Okay.
But again, that's based on individual preference.
Right.
But my regular go-to is 3mm.
Got it. Got it. So then this one comes over here in front of the sway bar, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Chalo, let's mount it.
To be honest, driving in the city on city roads, being brutally honest, it feels like it's made no difference. But I mean that in a positive way because on these bad and broken patches of road, where now see for example, I'm going in the same pothole where I went last time as well. On these bad and broken roads, it's actually as comfortable as the stock car. It really is. It is. You can hardly make a difference while driving it in the city. It does feel a little bit stiffer, but I'm being really picky. I mean to say maybe about 5% more stiffer, and that's a good thing at least in the city because it's not at all uncomfortable. It still retains that stock Octavia suspension comfort, that ease of use, but something does feel different. I still can't pinpoint what feels different. Something definitely does still feel different while driving this. But where we should see a difference is when we head down to the ORR or the outer ring road, and then we head to our patch where the road is still not fully complete. It's kind of a small little testing ground. It doesn't keep flexing. So I can already make out that the chassis flex has been removed quite significantly. And I hope so that this will only be more apparent as we build up speed. Okay, we are now hitting the outer ring road and moving to the legal speed limit on this road. Man, this car pulls so nicely, so cleanly. Love the car. And okay, immediately the stability is leaps and bounds different. Like, it's just driving so flat. Like, even I'm at pretty high speed. Even if I want to change direction at these speeds, the steering and the body of the car feels so much more connected at these high speeds. Changing directions, I mean, if this was a stock car, the EBD, the electronic brake distribution, would have for sure kicked in. For sure the EBD would have kicked in. Earlier in this particular scenario where we're doing these kind of speeds, and I would have done such sharp lane changes, firstly, I would have turned the wheel and there would have been like a pretty significant delay in me turning the wheel and the car and the body of the car reacting to it. That has been minimized to as low you can go. I mean, it can be, according to Vincent, it can be reduced even further with a even more thicker front brace. But this is the kind of setup which is the best of both worlds. And trust me, in this condition, in this current situation, the kind of direction changes that I'm doing and at the speeds at which I'm doing, it's not funny. It's actually able to keep the body of the car flat while doing the direction changes, while at the same time also the response time, that lag between the steering input and the car's body reacting to that input has reduced greatly. Like, it is significantly noticeable. Man, the stability is, it's like it's on rails. It's literally like it's on rails. Damn it. That has changed. I mean, I can't tell you what speeds we were doing because we were doing totally legal speeds, okay? Nothing over 120. When you go into the corner with those speeds, the kind of confidence difference that I have now versus the kind of confidence difference I had earlier, 100% plus, that's been better. The car just sticks, okay? We were doing some pretty epic speeds over there and the car just sticks, takes the turn and you point it in the direction, it just keeps going. A lot of time people go get lowering springs, which makes your car a lot more uncomfortable, which still, I mean, it does become stiffer, but that stiffness is at a huge sacrifice of overall drivability. Like, I have seen so many people who've got lowering springs and then immediately after 2 weeks, they've just removed them and thrown them away. They've not even tried selling them. They're just that these things are not worth it. The braces is something which is absolutely something which can make your car still very much usable day to day, while at the same time, when you're out on highway runs, when you're out, let's say, even for a competition or any sort of much more sportier style of driving, man, the difference is far, far, far more than what a stock car feels. The stock Octavia's character has completely been changed. This is the last patch of road which we traveled on the last time, and this has some high speed tight corners. So going in, holy crap, man. Okay, so the difference this time was even more because I braked mid corner. Last time I didn't brake mid corner, and when you brake mid corner, you completely unsettle the car. And even then, there was a little bit of a dip, definitely, but it kept going. This is like, I don't need to say this again and again, but this has completely changed the character of the car by miles. Like, to be honest with you, if I owned an Octavia and I had to drive it daily in the city, while at the same time, let's say on weekends, I'm going to nice twisty roads, of course not going on the track or anything, not doing something extreme, very, very extreme, but if I'm like normally going to ghat sections, driving it around some twisty areas, and at the same time using the car in the city, this is the one mod and this is the only mod that I would do. I would get braces on the car so that my car becomes a lot more stiffer in terms of its main core chassis, while at the same time the suspensions remain soft, which means that day-to-day driving I'm totally comfortable, while at the same time when I want to push it, I still have a ton more grip a ton more dynamic support from the bracing itself. It's an incredible thing. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to see you in the next one. Till then,